All right, everybody. Let's see if all the various places are streaming, etc., etc. I think YouTube is all the there. There we go. No blaring, please. All right. So yesterday we started setting up the hotkey toggle for the letter mode. And I think we got it working pretty well. So now the last step is to actually get the tool to work at the same time. All right, this morning I did a little bit of, there was some new import stuff happening with fpuzzle data, which I fixed this morning. But I think that should not interfere. All right, I gotta remind myself where I was poking. Where was I doing the poking? Ah, yes, I did all this stuff. I think I'm gonna try to create a separate style file for the letter tool, similar to what we do with toolpen.css. So I'm thinking this was pulled in here, and we did the same thing with the replay actually. So tool letter. So we should be able to save that as tool letter, and then just move this over to tool letter. And we should be able to get rid of any diff here. Now I think there's already some styling. Oop. Yeah, this is not working now. Why not? Why is this not working? Are these loaded in too early or too late? Or something or other? Tool letter.css. Did I not save this? Tool letter.css. Ah, okay. I think it just... Yeah, all right. I'm trying to think... I'm trying to remember what we had previously there. So let me see. Maybe if I just compare to an earlier version. So if I compare master to... maybe once... no, we'll just have to go back a bunch. Special things. I don't remember. When did I add the letter tool? Which version was the letter tool? So 151 already had letter stuff. So Dorkel, was that before or after adding? I'm trying to remember when we first added the letter stuff. It's definitely after these. Ah, wait, I made a named branch, right? At the time, and I probably deleted that. 141, okay, so if we go down to 141 plus letters. So if we go to tag 141.0, compare to that, and look specifically at style, then we should, we'll find a bunch of other things as well. I think this data validated. That was one of the changes I did. Ah, here we go. That's what I'm looking for. So, settings keypad 1075, tool letter, here we go. Letter tool, so basically all of this. I think. All right, still seems to work. Anything else? I'm just looking for any specific styling that looks like I've added it as part of the letter tool. In fact, if we do the diff with instead of against master, against the letter tool branch, that might be better, especially the original one, this one. So if I now look at style.css, so there's this letter tool section. We removed that thing, that's fine. And that's it. All right, I think that's all we needed. And then we can also use that to adjust styling for. So if I go here, that looks fine. Doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything, doesn't do anything. Well, that looks fine. And that works. So it was really just the corner mode. Okay. I'm gonna put that into a separate commit to avoid confusing myself. So I'm gonna ignore these. And I'm just gonna, and we need this change. All right. Move letter style into letter tool style into separate file. All right. Just so we have a slightly saner diff here. Okay, so now we need to actually deal with the letters getting pressed. Right. So this button stuff is being handled. Now if I press a letter, Alt D, we're probably hitting either the key handlers or the new key up and down handlers. Okay. So we're not reaching this here though. Return false. Okay, so we killed that whole process. All right. So boom, D. Okay, so if I'm here and I'm Alt D, Alt Shift D, Alt Control D, Alt Control D, 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 D. So why does this disable the temporary letter mode? So it's probably because of this, right? Okay, so here the problem is that pressing Alt and Control. Now, okay, wait. I do this. Alt Control D. Handle key Alt letter D is enabled. Is enabled letter mode. Is enabled undefined. Is enable. Wait, is enable or is it? It's enabled. Okay, only misspelled that. Alt letter, center, normal. If not shift pressed. Okay, so here we're basically trying to circumvent what used to happen before. So this code we no longer need, I think. So Alt, Control, D. Yes, Alt, Shift, D. Alt D, and then just D nothing. Okay, now Shift D, Shift Alt D. Yeah, and Shift Control D, nothing. And if I switch to Shift mode, it should be the same but reversed, right? So Alt D would do this, Shift D would do this, Shift Alt D would do this, and Shift Control D doesn't work because I still have this code in here. Ah, it's nice to get rid of these special handlers now. Now what I'm not super sure about is the other modes. Control D, no, Control Shift D. Shift D, Alt, Shift Alt D. Okay. Now Control Alt D, Control Alt 2, yes. And then Control Alt, or in color mode, if I do Shift D. Yeah, so in color mode, Shift will not toggle to letters, but Shift Alt D will. It just won't have toggled correctly there. Ah, that's annoying. That is annoying. Let me test this on the Alt side of things. Let's normalize our testing there. So we'll clear the thing. So we're in color mode, and I'm pressing Alt, Control. So handle key down. Key on. Okay, so let me get rid of that stuff. I don't want to break my brain trying to filter that out manually. All right. Clear. Control Alt D. So we get a handle key down event, and it switches to letter mode. Control Alt, Control Alt, no, Alt Control. Yeah, that's the problem. Alt Control doesn't do it. It doesn't visually update it. So Alt, because it tries to switch here, but we don't have anything to switch. Now we're pressing Control, and it doesn't catch up on this. So let's have a look at the handle key down to see if we can handle this here. And I'm guessing it somehow doesn't think it can switch at that point. So Alt Control D. Can temp switch is true. Ah, yeah, well, at that point it actually does toggle, right? So Alt Control D, it actually toggles because it finds that it's true. But the other way around, Alt Control, can temp switch is false here. All right, let's output all the decision-making variables and see why it thinks it's false. So it checks is tool with letters app.tool. So we, of course, it could be that things haven't changed yet, right? So we're capturing the key down event before it actually reacts to that. And that's probably what's happening. Let's be honest. And then all right. So we're pressing Alt first and Control, and at this point, can temp switch is false. Yeah, because tool hasn't updated yet. Oh man. And that's kind of the problem, right? So we almost need two different events. We need one that happens before all our internal processing happens. On handle before key down and handle after key down, right? Because basically, by the time this event handler gets executed, we're still in color mode. And it just says, hey, we're in color mode, we can't do anything, right? Now, is there anything stopping me from switching letter mode while we're here? Maybe this check is unnecessary. So if we get rid of that check, so we just always switch letter modes. We don't care about color mode, right, in the foreground. So I press Alt, but it does a bunch of stuff. So it's not here we should be checking. It should be here we're checking, right? Set letter mode. This letter mode is letter mode. Control. Input letter query selector. And then here we should just do... The problem is tool with letters will still... So, put letter. If letter mode and not is tool with letter, return. Console.warn exiting comma incorrect tool. All right, so Alt, Control, toggle mode, false. Set two letters, set letter mode true. So set letter mode true happens here. But why isn't this stuff happening? Okay, let's check this again. Press clear, Alt, Control, set letter mode true, set letter mode false. Wait, why does set letter mode false happen here? What's doing that? Control, no. Alt, Control. So we have two set letter modes, a true and a false. Where does this false come from? Why is toggle mode being called twice? All right, change of plans. I'm gonna cut the stream short. I was hoping to squeeze it in, but there's some stuff coming up. Just give me a couple of minutes so I tidy up this stuff. So handle tool enter is happening twice. I think handle tool... I think the problem is we're calling toggle mode here. So we're hitting handle tool enter. This tool with letters. So this is calling enable and disable accordingly. And we'll probably want to log this out as well. And tool and this, right? Handle till enter is enabled. I'll just output this. Clear. Press Alt and Control. And release. So we're hitting tool enter. Is enabled is false. Because we have to render the buttons, right? Tool enter enable. Set toggle mode. Now the toggle mode here executes from enable, right? Is enabled is true. So here it's switching. Now why is handle tool enter executing twice? That is the question. That is probably the problem. And we shouldn't really be toggling here. Not blindly at any rate, right? Ah, wait, we are not toggling blindly. We're checking if we're in a tool with letters. So what is the tool at that point? False, center, true, color. Ah, wait, but the true color happens after I release. Control Alt. No. Alt, Control. Enable toggle mode false. Handle tool enter. It happens once. We're enabling, setting letter mode true, toggle mode false. Okay, this toggle mode is the problem, right? So we're enabling, enable, and then toggle mode to letter mode. Set letter mode, toggle mode. Why are we doing this twice? I don't think this is appropriate here. I don't think that's correct. I think this is where the problem is. Alt Control, Control, Alt Shift, 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 Alt, 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 backslash. Now we could at this point use Alt to switch to, maybe that's the right thing to do, that then the hotkey inverts, basically just toggles from letters to numbers and back. Okay, I think this is where we want to go. So I don't think this is particularly broken, so this just needs a bunch of testing. But then basically what I want to do is that if you're toggled here permanently, this toggle will work just like these, basically. So if you're in letter mode and you press Alt, it goes to digit mode, even though you can type in digits. And if you're in letter mode, you cannot type letters, but you can press Alt, and then you can do letters, and Alt Shift to do corners. And well, right now there's no hotkey for full size. I think this is getting pretty close to exactly what people want. And then we can have a Shift and an Alt mode. And then I think the other modes I basically get rid of. I don't think I'll want these. I think we want the Alt and Shift mode. The only question then is to say, if we're in letter mode, do we want to not need the thing? So maybe there is these, right? And they don't kick in unless you're in letter mode. So then you can toggle like this, and then here your hotkeys would work normally. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. Let me just make a note of that. To do modes 2/4. Ignore when not in letter mode. I think it should be for 5 and 6 as well. 2, 4, 5, and 6. All right, that's it. Short stream this morning. Hopefully I can do another one later on in the day. Thank you guys for hanging out. Well, if anybody was lurking. And I really would like to get the final version of this released today, so people can test it over the weekend, and then sometime next week we can prepare the full release. Awesome. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a good day.